Have you ever wondered about how to go about getting your donkey ready for the saddle? Well, here is some of Vahala's first. This is the first time putting in the bridle, and next time I'm going to do it slower. You see that before she was raising her head and kind of pulling away. If I had done more time prepping her for that, then it'll go easier, and she won't have as much resistance. So this is going to be So keep watching to get ideas when you're training, or if you just enjoy watching a good donkey. Vahala was a wild donkey from the BLM. She's 13 hands tall. And if you're looking for ideas of how to go about training your own wild donkey or your own donkey to be a saddle donkey, then you're in the right spot. So that first bridling, taking time to prepare them to wear the bridle, is going to help that go smooth. To prepare her to wear the bridle, I put it in and then take it out. Sometimes leaving it in for 5, 10, 15 minutes and then put it back in and take it out again. Just get her real comfortable wearing it. At first, if they're making a lot of funny faces with their tongue, rolling it around in there, that's okay. They'll get used to how to pack that bit, but they're going to need time to adjust to wearing it. Lots of repetition is really going to help them feel comfortable wearing the bit. After they get used to wearing it, I'll flex with that and ask them to disengage using the reins and the bit together. This is all before we begin to ride. So far, all the riding that we've done with Vahala has just been working on forward movement. We haven't been working on steering yet with the bit. This will be the first time her being steered with the bit after having lots of time just to get used to wearing it and packing that. So then when we start riding, the first thing is we want them to learn to stand still to mount. So here we are working on that with Vahala, and she does a great job standing still to mount. If they were to get nervous, then I would reset and restart. Sometimes it can be a lot of variables that could cause them to want to walk off. One of them just being nerves. Some other ones would be just balance, if they're learning how to balance and have the weight all on one side. That can take a little bit of time for them to get used to. Here she wants to go hang out at the gate where the other donkeys are. And if she wants to hang out there too much, I'll just ask her to move around there. And then if she's going a different direction, I'm just going to leave her alone and not do anything. When you're asking for that forward movement, you're going to want to only move your legs when you're trying to get movement. And as soon as they take a step, and even if it is only a step, you stop and then ask again after they've stopped. But don't wave your legs while you are riding them, while they're moving their feet. So this was a pretty exciting day for Vahala, just working on that forward movement and then a little bit of steering, being out in a new pasture that we haven't rode in yet. All the other animals are locked out of this pasture, so her and I just have the whole little area to ourselves. It's about a half acre. And you can see there when she's moving, I'm just leaving her alone. If she stops, then I ask again. You want to ask with your calves. I'm not using spurs, and I used to use spurs, but I'm not going to use spurs anymore. If you're asking them to go and they're not getting it, we don't want them to get dull to our legs, so that's why we're going to stop using our legs as soon as they do take a step. And if you have a lead rope attached, you can always use the tail end of the lead rope to help encourage that forward movement as well. You could also have somebody behind you with a flag to help encourage it if needed. But Vahala is doing a real nice job here with that forward movement. Before we got to the stage of riding, we did a lot of groundwork. Now, because she was wild, before the groundwork could even begin, we had to gentle her. We've spent lots and lots of time with gentling, just helping her be really comfortable around people and the farrier and the vet. And then we started with the groundwork, which has to do with circles, disengaging, moving over the front end, being above her on a fence. Lots and lots of groundwork to help her know how we communicate and to really help her learn all of these tasks that we're going to do and ask of her under saddle. We want her to be able to do them first on the ground with the lead rope. We also practice this stuff with the saddle and then introducing her to the saddle. That was lots and lots of time doing that, getting her comfortable and being able to saddle her even without her being tied up. The goal was for her to be so comfortable being saddled from both sides that she would stand still to do this long before we ever got onto her back. Now, Vahala, again, she is a wild donkey from the Seven Troughs, Nevada, BLM. HMA is the word I was looking for, from the HMA, which stands for herd management area, and a BLM stands for the Bureau of Land Management. So she's a BLM donkey, wild from Seven Troughs, Nevada. Later on, Vahala went on to do cattle sorting. That was a lot of fun to do with Vahala. She is more of a nervous animal, so to help her with confidence, that's part of the reason we were moving cattle, was to help build up her confidence. We also would move my horse with a flag while I was riding her or walking with her to help build her confidence. Again, having her be part of us moving another animal is something that can help build up their confidence if they're lacking. When we first brought her home, she was so nervous of when you clean the pen and there's the pitchfork lines in the dirt. Oh boy, that was very, very scary. If the water trough had gotten so low that it was like 2 inches from the top, so really it's almost full, but if it was about 2 inches low from the very tippy top, she would be too nervous to drink out of it. So when they first came, they were very, very nervous. We had brought home 3 with this round. It was Vahala, Grace, and Awe. And Vahala and Grace have both been sold since, and I am keeping Awe as my ambassador animal. As we found out recently that we have a BLM contract, so we're going to start having lots and lots of different donkeys and mustangs here to help train and auction off and find homes for. Here I'm asking Vahala if she'll step over these logs when they're not big logs, as you can see, but just helping to get that confidence to go do new things. And I'm pretty excited when she does do it. Giving her time to think about it, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially when you're dealing with a donkey or even a horse, give them some time to think about it, and eventually they will go the direction you want. So here I am asking with my legs, trying to get that forward movement. She's a little hesitant, and she does eventually go over it. So if you've ever thought about adopting a wild donkey, there's lots of different playlists for each animal that I have adopted, and as well as different playlists for topics of training or gentling that you might be interested in seeing. And Vahala here, she does have her own playlist. And again, right here, we're pretty stuck in the mud, but later on, we actually are helping to sort cattle, which was just so much fun. Love to hear your comments. Have you ever worked on sorting cattle with a donkey? Boy, I didn't even know that they used donkeys to move cattle before, and found out at a mule days one year that they are used, and they work really well because they're so calm, not necessarily real speedy, which is exactly what you need when you're moving cattle. Just real calm movements, not real speedy. I suppose sometimes if you have to, if you're actually moving the real deal cattle, then maybe you might have to. There, I just got her to start taking steps over that log, and I was so excited. Saw my hand go up in the air like, woohoo. So gentling is a long process, and it's completely worth it. It's one of the funnest things I've ever done is starting to do this project of gentling wild donkeys and mustangs. Some of them really make you work harder than others. Vahala took a little bit more time because she was so nervous. She would actually go put her head in the corner of the pen and just kind of hang out there and hide. She would need to have lots of thinking time between her sessions to help her be brave enough to be curious so we could start the gentling process. So again, I'd love to hear your comments. Fun things that you've done with your donkeys, whether it's sorting cattle or riding in a parade, bringing them hunting, whatever you might be doing with your donkeys, trail riding, of course. I'd love to hear all those comments in the comment section. Again, check out the playlist for the different donkeys. Vahala has one, as well as different playlists for different topics of training. Now there, I still have to ask with a lot of pressure, and if I were to use the lead rope, and I don't know if I don't have it on there or not, but using that lead rope can help encourage that forward movement without just kicking the entire time. And you're going to ask with more than one way. So first, maybe I'm leaning forward a little bit, putting my reins forward a little bit, and then asking with my legs. And it starts off with just a tiny amount of pressure that you won't even be able to see. And then that pressure can increase as we're going. But you always want to start with the littlest of what you're going to ask for, because eventually they'll start to understand that if you're even just wiggling your toes inside of your boots, they'll start to know that and feel that. And then as you increase pressure And you get that little bit of forward movement to stop, and then eventually you're going to have a nice moving donkey or horse or mule. It'll work for all of them the same way. So the benefits of riding a donkey is they don't typically bolt on you. They are more of a freeze and assess, where they're going to freeze and then really try to determine whether or not what they're looking at is dangerous or not. Whereas a horse, their first instinct is to hightail it out of there and look back later on. Now, if we do our groundwork really well, we're going to have donkeys and mustangs with really good coping skills, and hopefully they can think about things before they take off running or not freezing too often. Remember, a donkey's go-to response is to freeze. And here I'm just giving her some time to think about it, and then I start to ask, and if you could see my legs moving, it was just a little bit, and she started to move for me. And then she stopped, so I'm asking again. One of the most helpful things to increase speed is to ask when they have their front inside leg up. To ask with your legs, or however you're going to ask, as soon as your donkey picks up their front inside foot. So it wouldn't work from a standstill, but once they're working or once they're walking, if you ask with when their front leg is up, it's easier for them to increase their speed, and timing with the donkey is so very important. That's, I think, the biggest thing that stands out to me between a horse and a donkey is a donkey really, really wants good timing, and they're going to work best when we have good timing. So that's something that I'm still working on. I'll probably always be working on trying to improve my skills and have good timing. But it's been absolutely amazing with the different donkeys that I brought to different clinics, the wild donkeys, and how much better they go when I have really, really good timing with my ask. I hope you enjoy watching this. And again, this is wild donkey Vahala, and she is absolutely a joy to work with. She's more of a reserved, nervous donkey, where I have had other ones that are a little bit more brave, and they all have such good benefits and traits. I love them all. They are absolutely amazing. If you haven't yet, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It sure does help out. And then I have in the description some links to different things that I like, and you can check that out. I do have its affiliate link, so it does give me a small amount of commission, but it sure helps out with making these videos and getting this information out to all of you that enjoy being able to watch it. And hopefully it is helpful with your own journey as well. With donkeys, you're going to want to be prepared for them to eat all of your wood fences. You can see behind me.